a new magazine for hand tool users. Why the long wait for my table saw or other tools? Those stories and more coming up. Welcome to the Woodworking News for September 13th, 2021. I'm Don. In this week's report, I have some good news for those of you that are looking for commissions on high-end furniture. First, a couple of reports on reading material. The following magazine was suggested by a viewer, Eric Erf. I hope I pronounced that last name correctly, Eric. According to Tools for Making Wood, Quercus Magazine is an exciting new magazine which bears the slogan, Working Wood by Hand. It's crammed with interesting topics and ideas that will appeal to anyone interested in hand tools, chairs, sloyd, which is the training in the use of tools and materials emphasizing wood carving, green woodwork, and spoons. Here's a brief view of what's inside the September-October 2021 edition of the magazine. All the articles are illustrated with color photographs. The magazine is published bi-monthly from the Isle of Wight, which is at the tip of the British Isles. The following is from a Lost Art Press blog by Christopher Schwartz. When Nick Gibbs' new venture, Quercus Magazine, showed up in the mail, I was torn. Nick and I go way back. There's respect, jealousy, bad blood, and all the other emotions that come from the life where you bleed ink from one arm and sap from another. There have always been too many woodworking publications out there for the market to support, so everyone struggles. Do we need one more? If the first issue of Quercus is any indication, the answer is yes. The articles are short and written mostly by enthusiasts who have more energy and passion than style. The experience level of the authors runs the gamut from dead nuts beginner to people who deserve a royal nod. All of the following statements are compliments. It's a bit sloppy, but it's readable, lovable, and enthusiastic. It doesn't give a crap about corporate this or that, and the magazine is published with 0 ads. Check in the description below for more information on Quercus Magazine. According to Chris Schwartz, the paper the magazine is printed on is woefully thin. He said it wrinkles when you breathe heavily upon it. But Nick chose the paper exactly for the reason that it's recycled and it's lightweight, so it doesn't cost as much to mail. I've listed some of the sources for Quercus Magazine in the description below. It sounds like a really good magazine for those of you that are really into hand tools. Many people today are into live edge slabs. For those of you that are, this is a must-read book for you. My book for the news is The Soul of a Tree by George Nakashima. George Nakashima's singular literary opus has inspired generations of architects, furniture makers, and collectors around the world. In his lavishly illustrated volume, part autobiography, part woodworking guide, George grants readers a close look at his artistry, philosophy, and personal history. George said when cutting a tree, it's like cutting diamonds. He carefully planned the cutting of every tree he used. When slabs were cut, he carefully planned out with some chalk where each should be cut for the piece of furniture he was making. George is known for the concept of a naturalistic top laid on a very architectural base. It's both natural and man-made simultaneously. I can make an item that can live forever, possibly. George Nakashima. The longevity of what George Nakashima started is amazing. Over the years, it's gone through many transformations, but the ideas and the ideals that he started still remain today. Each tree not only has a different size and shape, but also color and character. and each board from each tree has a distinctly different personality. George Nakashima. The following report is great news for those of you who produce high-end furniture in your workshops. According to Camille Stiles, so what trends are on the way out? Replica furniture and cheap, cheerful pieces are on the way out. Now is the time to invest in high-quality pieces, whether it's carefully sourced vintage or new high-end furniture. It's all about setting a cool, romantic mood and carrying the tone throughout the room via items that feel luxurious even when they're affordable. So what's in? Maximalism. Almost all the professionals we spoke to were delighted to see the revival of this more is more aesthetic. One expressed surprise at this turn of events. You would think that after having adjusted to life in a pandemic, we would want simple and sleek. But it's pushed us to want high quality, highly detailed, and very special interiors. I sure hope this lady's research is valid. It shows promise for many of you who are trying to get your woodworking business started and trying to make some high-end furniture. During this whole pandemic situation, and even recently, I've seen many complaints about woodworking tools that are in limited supply or you have long wait times for them. I've experienced some of those myself. Here's a report that tells you why that's all happening. In a recent Shop Notes podcast, they had a guest, Tobias Bridges from Jet Powermatic. He's the Director of Product Development and Management. In the podcast, he said that the biggest challenge that they face right now is shipping. He stated that tracking containers and giving customers an accurate prediction on when they can expect their machines has been difficult. He went on to say their product managers, who usually concentrate on developing and improving their products, have turned into logistics managers. According to Tobias, all of these issues are all out of their control given the current circumstances. They are trying their best to get products out to their customers as quickly as possible. So that makes us wonder what's causing all the problems. According to Springer, supply chains can be very complex, composed of a series of stages, from the shipment of raw materials to the delivery to the customer. For this report, we're going to concentrate on where Powermatic is having their problems: unit shipping. After goods are made in factories, they're shipped overseas in containers. According to The Economist, rising consumer demand and constrained supply of containers is causing disruption on the seas. Containers are the building blocks of global trade, and at the moment, shippers cannot get enough of them. Surging demand for goods and a shortage of empty containers at Asian ports have sent container shipping costs skyrocketing. According to CNBC, an aggressive fight over containers is causing shipping costs to rocket by 300%. This affects everyone who needs to ship goods from China. The pandemic and uneven global economic recovery has led to this problem cropping up in Asia, although other parts of the world have been hit. Industry watchers say desperate companies wait weeks for containers and pay premium rates to get them, causing shipping costs to skyrocket. Even rates from the U.S. have gone up, though not quite as dramatically. The reason for this is the Chinese are being so aggressive about trying to get empty containers back that it's hard to get a container for U.S. exports. 3 out of 4 containers from the U.S. to Asia are going back empty. A report from Kitco states distorted trade flows in and out of consumer markets, which are importing more and exporting less than normal due to the pandemic, have also led to a record buildup of containers outside China. For example, the Port of Los Angeles, the top U.S. container port, imported 3.5 containers for every one it exported and shipped a record 326,000 empty containers in the month of October in 2020. According to Marketplace, clogged U.S. ports don't have enough cranes or workers to handle everything within the actual supply chain. A report in Now You Know states consultants which operates out of London referred to its current cost index, stating that the cost to ship freight from China to Europe and the U.S.'s West Coast are reaching $12,000 per container, while some last-minute shipments have reported costs around $20,000. Everyone is spending much longer on round trips. According to an expert, containers are sitting on the water for much longer periods of time. Containers are waiting at ports much longer. Every failure is effectively creating ripple effects. It's a vicious cycle. A report from Hillebrand states, freight shipping is in the midst of a unique and unusual predicament. An unforeseen cascade of events caused by the pandemic has us facing a worldwide container shortage crisis. It's a crisis because the lack of containers has a ripple effect down the entire supply chains, disrupting trade on a global scale. So where are all the containers, you ask? So where have all the containers gone? Many are in inland depots. Others are piled up in cargo ports, and the rest are aboard vessels, especially the Trans-Pacific lines. The largest container shortage is in Asia, but Europe also faces a deficit. Compounding on the shift in trade imbalances and bottlenecks is that the production of containers is woefully low. It's not even keeping up with the number of containers that are scrapped every year. In this graph, the scrap containers are represented in light blue. New containers are represented with the dark blue. And the orange line represents the available containers. It's clear from this graph, in a time that we need more containers, we're losing them. Here we see the inventory of new containers in factories from October 2019 to October 2020. Obviously, the pandemic has caused a drop in container production. According to Kitco, industry observers expect the container tightness to persist until coronavirus vaccines are rolled out and administered worldwide, and more global travel resumes. Maybe this crane is lifting the container that holds the table saw that you ordered recently. At least you can hope for that. Obviously, this container shortage is why a lot of items, in addition to tools, are in limited supply or they've been delayed. It doesn't look like it's going away anytime soon. We still need to get all of the containers where they need to be, and that's taking a long time. I greatly appreciate all the positive and encouraging comments and some suggestions from you. One of the comments I got from D-Mac from the last program was pretty interesting. I thought I'd share it. One of the things Oneida Marketing skirts around is that the universal part of the name refers to a large universal motor. I think people will be unpleasantly surprised at the noise when they use the machine for the first time. Something interesting and keep in mind. Remember, if you'd like to be included in the Woodworking News, please let me know. It could be something that you made in your shop, something you're doing in a shop, in a video, a short clip, or even a photo. You can find my email address at my website, wbfinewoodworking.com. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you. If you like this video, remember to give it that thumbs up down below. Please share this video with friends. The more we get these videos shared, the more views I get, and the better my status is on YouTube. I greatly appreciate all the questions and comments that all of you ask. I really enjoy answering those, and thank you all very much for watching.